Hello, TikTok family. Welcome to another episode of TikTok. And today, TikTok is double standard. What is double standard though? What do you think double standard is? When I think about double standard, I think about the privilege men got in the world and how they can be very objective in the home with their daughters. So you will see a man out there with a 20-year-old girl dating. He could be 50 years old or 60 years old. If he have a 20-year-old at home, he will do everything possible to deprive that his 20-year-old daughter from going outside. Why is it that you are protecting your daughter at the same time you are out there, with somebody else's 20-year-old? But double standard is much deeper than just what I think. What do you guys think double standard is?
Basically, a standard that works in favor of one gender, but if the other gender were to do it, it would be condemned.
Like what?
Like having multiple sexual partners. For a man, that's praised, but for a woman, that's condemned.
So is that what is that what?
That's just one example.
Men can say, "Oh, I've been with hundreds of women." They'll get like, "Oh wow, like I can't believe, wow, you're so experienced." That's what they say. But then if a woman were to say, "I've been with 5 men," then all of a sudden, she's every name in the book. So that's the standard that only works in favor of men. But for women, they're condemned. But that could be towards anything. Like
We are living in a patriarchy world where men got all the power and all the praises, and women, we are second-class citizens. Even though women have been fighting over the years to kind of change that, we are still fighting, but that's just something it is.
I think a big part of double standards is also like your culture, or I don't know about religion, but it's a lot about your culture. Like a lot of women, they usually have to like cook and clean and stay at home and like be like taking care of the children, while the men, they just like sit around, they go to work or whatever, they come home, they sit, they don't do like laundry and stuff. But the women, like the women that do that, I don't know if they enjoy it or like what it is, but it's a big part of your culture too. Like it's not just like you don't just choose, I don't know how to say it.
Gender role where
Yeah.
women have been placed in the kitchen. They are responsible for everything in the home.
I mean, if it was the example of, like you said, gender role, so a woman does the cooking and the cleaning for the household, and the man goes to work, he comes home, he'll sit on the couch and watch TV. That's a gender role. The double standard is that the man goes out to work and he's been working hard all day, and he comes home and he's allowed to sit on the couch. That's normal. But if a woman were to go out and be working 9 to 5 and come home and sit on the couch, she's considered a bad mom, she's a lazy mom, she doesn't cook for her man, all that stuff. That's the standard. Because if a man was to do the same thing, he deserves it. He's been out working. If a woman does the same thing, she's a lazy mom, she's not a good wife, she doesn't take care of the things that she's supposed to take care of.
I'm not the one making the rules. What I think about double standard is that the rules been made already in the society. I would blame the society for that, because the society keeps saying that, oh, boys will be boys, and now boys will be boys is dangerous because it is getting a lot of boys in trouble.
And the double standard is raising your daughters to fear strange men, but not raising your sons to be respectful of those same women that you're trying to protect. Instead of spending so much energy trying to groom your daughter, basically groom your daughter into being pure safe, stay covered up. Like, instead of doing that, why don't you just tell your sons, you don't touch women unprovoked. If you don't have consent, you don't touch her.
Yeah.
You speak to women with respect. You go outside, it's not every woman that you look at. You don't call women names. You teach your sons to do that instead of telling your daughters, beating it down your daughter's brains, like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this to stay safe from men.
Yeah.
Why don't you make those same men respectful men? We don't have to fear them. Like,
what I believe we should do as parents to kind of avoid danger for our daughters is to be able to train our young men morals. Now, what is morals? Morals come in many ways. It's about respect and dignity. I have the girls, I'm always praying that, oh God, I'm praying for a good husband. Where will the good husband come from when we parents, we are not training them to be good? When we train our daughters morals, we train our boys morals. Good moral girls and good moral boys are going to meet. But if the boys are always hearing boys will be boys, boys will be boys, boys will be disrespectful, boys will be boys, boys will go and rape, boys will be boys, boys will go and kicking girls, having multiple partners, and when marriage don't work out, we cry. Why are we crying? We encourage them. This is the reason why it's so easy for a boy to take out a gun and shoot someone, because boys will be boys. So that's one language that I think the society should try to eliminate.
the statement boys should be boys is just harmful as a whole.
Yeah.
It is very harmful. Like, I have always have problem with boys will be boys.
Like, so
Like that's how they're
so
trained
is that
to
an
be.
excuse
So
for them to just do whatever?
exactly.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, most aspects of life, double standards are in favor of men. In the corporate world, where you have a man and a woman working the same position, let's say they start at the bottom, they're working the same entry-level position, the man is more likely to get promoted to higher and higher positions during his tenure at this job. Meanwhile, the woman has to scrape, she has to fight her way up, and she'll probably not surpass like a secretary level job. But when men complain about double standards, it's just simple things like women go out to the club and we have to buy them drinks. Why don't they buy us drinks? Like, that's what the men will complain about. Simple thing, a $5 drink.
Let me just come in. Have any guy complain about that?
Yes.
Do they?
Yes.
What?
They're also broke, but that's another problem.
But honestly, they shouldn't be complaining because they even got more pay.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
already make
true.
more money than us. We're supposed to buy you guys stuff. Like, it doesn't add up. But that's what they will complain
Yeah.
about. Meanwhile, we're complaining about real issues like a wage gap. Why
That's
do men
it.
get
Yeah.
paid more than women? Like, why?
Yeah.
It's 2020. Why is that still a thing? These are real double standards that we have issues with. And then they want to, like, these men that say they're for meninism will bring up examples like, oh, why do we have to pay for dinner when we go out? Why do men have to buy women this? Why don't they do this for us? We shouldn't always have to spoil women. Women should be able to spoil us. Little things like that is what you're complaining about. Meanwhile, women have to deal with so many other things. Like,
Other than buying.
what is a
drinks
small
for-
dinner? Like, you already have so much more money than we have in our bank accounts because you make more at the same job that I work at. So what is a bill for dinner really?
Here it is. They tell to keep their daughters home the same age. I will always look at that because I feel like if you are protecting your daughter, she is 16, she's home. Why are you out there with a 16 years old? Oh my God. I want somebody daughter to be lucky in life with my boys. So that's the reason why I try to run after them. I try to make them stay home as much as possible. God knows how much I have tried on that. And someone told me to just let them be. let them go, and it is time for them to enjoy themselves. I do understand that they should go and enjoy themselves, but I also believe that they should enjoy their youth. Either who lies forever. If they get out there now and start doing everything that either men are doing, so they will miss out on their youth. A lot of women don't agree with me on that, but I just think kids should be kids.
At the root of a double standard is patriarchy. Like, these things are ingrained in people's minds due to the way that they are raised. So yeah, like you mentioned, culture, it is prominent in a lot of cultures for men to have a certain outlook and for women to have a certain outlook. But just because it's a part of your culture doesn't mean it's right.
So this is why when I always say that women are property to men.
Basically.
You just have to be lucky with a really good partner. There are still very good men out there who will support their children, who will work together with the woman that God blesses them with, right?
Yeah.
Whew.
So there's a rapper, his name is Lil Boosie. He's like your time.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so Lil Boosie went on Instagram Live, and he told Instagram Live that as soon as his son turns 13, he's gonna hire a hooker for his son to take his son's virginity. And men everybody was watching this like, oh, okay, you know, I guess that's cool. Like, you know, he'll have experience with an experienced woman. But the boy is 13. To hire a hooker that's an adult to have is child molestation.
Yes.
But he's saying it like it's such a normal thing. Like, oh yeah, no, I want my sons to be active at such a young age. But Lil Boosie would not do that for his daughters. He has daughters too. He would not hire no hooker for his daughters. That's insane. Why is it not insane for his sons?
And did you hear what happened with T.I. and his daughter?
Oh yeah, that too.
What happened?
I don't know. Can you explain it?
T.I. has a daughter that's, I don't know if she's 19 now, but basically he went on the radio show to say that he takes his daughter to all of her gynecologist appointments, and he'll ask the doctor if her hymen is still intact. So he'll ask them, is she still a virgin? Like, every time he goes to her appointments, he wants to know whether his daughter is still a virgin. At 18, an adult, he wants to go with her to all of her appointments and just find out that one minor detail. But he has younger sons that he encourages to go out there and do the same thing that he's banning his daughter from doing.
His daughter.
His sons do whatever. Like, his sons are always in the headlines. Oh, I think his 15-year-old was just in the backyard smoking weed. He went in the backyard. He was like, wow, this is what you're doing. And he turned his eye. He went the other way. He wants to follow his daughter to her appointments, to be literally in her personal business to make sure that she's still a virgin. That's all that he cares about. But you don't care that your sons are doing drugs. You don't care that they're out there doing whatever else. Like, you don't even have a clue what they're doing. But you want to keep your daughter protected. From whom? This is what I said. Like, you're raising your sons to be the type of men that you don't want your daughter to be with.
To be with.
It doesn't make sense. So there's a lot to divulge on the topic of double standards, but we just went through some of the main ones that come up. But basically the point is, like, double standards don't just start out of nowhere. They start in the household. So as a parent, it's your job. Like, parents, you have a big job to raise your kids to not be the type of people that believe in double standards. You know, same way you raise your daughters to be good women, to be good wives, should be the same way you raise your sons to be good men and good husbands.
Exactly.
And that's the only way to eliminate double standards. Treat them equally, raise them equally, have the same expectations for both. But yeah, if you have any comments, leave them down below. Watch other videos while you're here. Watch some of our other videos. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in our next episode of Tea Talk.